So I sat down to edit this video and realized that I did not welcome you to the channel. I did not introduce myself. I did not even tell you what we were making today. So I'm back to fix all of that. So welcome to Garden Preserve. I'm Carter and I am so glad that you are here with me today. We're going to make one of my all-time favorites. I am down to one jar in my pantry. I make it every year and I love it, and I keep finding new ways to use it. So join me today for mango chutney, and I hope that you love this recipe as much as I do. Well, you know it's summer when we start doing recipes that require a lot of chopping. This one is no different, just like the sauces and relishes and the other yummy things we're going to do this summer. This one requires a good bit of chopping. So my suggestion would be put on your favorite YouTube channel, and I can offer some suggestions if you like, and get chopping. Grab yourself a garbage bowl and just chop away. I am doing a double batch. One, because it does take a lot of chopping. I want to get everything done. Two, because I know we're going to go through it. We absolutely love this one. I've done it for years. So I suggest that if you know you like chutney, you may want to go ahead and do a double batch just because of the chopping. So let's get this going, shall we? I'm excited. I went downstairs. What did I do with it? I went downstairs to get some molasses for this recipe. Notice that we only have 2 of the mango chutneys left. Only 2. Oh my gosh. Now that I found this coronation chicken salad recipe that I like so much, that will not last me very long. But you can see what it looks like. I'm going to use mostly the little 4-ounce jars. The recipe is written for half-pint jars. I like the little 4-ounce jars because it's kind of great for a serving size, but use whichever one suits you. I did throw in some 8-ounce jars because I'm doing a double batch and I'm trying to get everything in the water bath at the same time. So I'm going to do a little bit of each. So let me tell you how I started here. The recipe, and I'm going to post the link to the Bernardin recipe below so you can see it for a single batch. I'm going to do a double batch. So while a single batch would call for 4 cups of peeled and seeded mangoes, pitted mangoes, I'm using 8 cups. So in my notes in here, I have that was 4 large mangoes. Well, today it ended up being 3 large mangoes. So I had 6 mangoes total, so that gave me 8 cups. In the Bernardin thing, it says, I think it said either 4 or 5 or 5 or 6 mangoes was going to make 4 cups. So I guess all the mangoes are different sizes, but today for me it worked that the 6 count from Costco gave me 8 cups of chopped mango. So I'm going to throw everything into the pan. It goes in that first little run. Alright, mangoes are in. Then we have onions. Calls for 1 cup in a single batch recipe. I'm going to do 2 cups of chopped onions. All right, now let's add the citrus. We have, let me see here, half a cup of chopped seeded peeled limes, half a cup of chopped seeded peeled oranges, a 1/4 cup of chopped seeded peeled lemons. So of course I doubled it. So I ended up using 3 large oranges to get to a cup. I used 6 decent sized limes to get to a cup. And I used 3 lemons to get the half a cup of lemons that I needed. All right. Ginger. We need a half a cup of ginger. I'm using a whole cup because I'm doubling. Garlic, it calls for 3 cloves. I'm using 6. Let's get the raisins done. It calls for golden raisins. You can use regular raisins if that's all you have. I get these at Trader Joe's. You can probably get them at Sprouts. I'm not sure you can get them at, just a regular grocery store. But if you don't see them, just use the regular. That's absolutely fine. And we need, let's see, 3/4 cup for a single recipe. So I'm going to use 1.5 cups of golden raisins. is 1 cup of golden raisins. I need another half a cup. Okay, 1½ cups of raisins for my double batch. The rest of the ginger out of here. Now let's get on to the apple cider vinegar. I'm going to need 2 cups for mine. Sugar. We actually need lightly packed dark brown sugar. We need a cup of it in a single recipe, so I'm going to use 2 cups, but I'm not going to worry about using the brown sugar. I'm going to use allulose, but white sugar would be what you might choose to use, because we're putting in also a cup of molasses, so that's going to turn it into brown sugar anyway, so I'm not going to worry about the brown sugar part. I'll put in 2 of these. Okay, single recipe calls for ½ cup of molasses. I'm going to use a cup of molasses. All right. I love the flavor of molasses. All right. Cup of molasses. Now this is ready to go over to the stove, so I'll bring you over there. We're going to cook it down for 20 minutes, and then we're going to add our seasonings and our cilantro. Okay, so we're over at the stove. Now I'm going to bring it down and show you how this looks. What we're going to do is bring this up to a boil, reduce it to a simmer. Oh, there was somebody on like the Food Network who used to say BTB RTS. Somebody remind me who that was. I think it was the lady with the white spiky hair. And shoot, I can't remember her name. Anyway, we're gonna BTB RTS, and then we're gonna let it simmer for, or just really a gentle boil for 20 minutes. And then we're gonna add our seasonings and the cilantro and let it go for another 10 minutes while it thickens up. So let me bring you down and show you what we have. Okay, so it's not really doing anything yet, but it will. I'm gonna crank it up a little bit higher, bring it up to a boil relatively slowly. This has been on a gentle boil for 20 minutes now, so we're going to add the seasonings and the cilantro. And then we're going to let it go for about another 10 minutes according to the directions, but it could be longer than that, it could be less than that. It just depends how much of the citrus juice you have in your mix here. So we'll go until it reaches the right consistency. So let's add everything else. 2 tablespoons of cilantro is for the normal amount. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cilantro because I've doubled. Doubling is 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. Doubled amount is going to be 2 teaspoons of hot pepper flakes. I do not find this recipe to be spicy, but if you don't like spice at all, you don't have to include that. It really mellows in the jar, but do what you prefer. Okay, I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. I like ground cinnamon a lot, as you can see, so I'm going to mound those up just a little bit. I'm going to go with ½ teaspoon of ground cloves. This is a full teaspoon measure, so I'll use half of that. I'm also going to use ½ teaspoon of ground allspice. And that's it. That's everything that goes in this chutney. I hope you can see the beautiful colors on camera. I think it's really lovely. Alright, so we're going to give this 10 minutes or so to thicken up. We're going to keep it at this gentle boil. Because this is a hot pack, I have all of my jars heating up in the canner. And I have a bunch of jars because I'm going to use primarily the 4-ounce jars. So I think I have 12 of those, and I have 4 of the 8-ounce jars, and we'll just kind of see what we get. But we'll be back in 10 or so minutes, and I'll show you the consistency we're looking for. Okay, I think we are about there. It took about 15 minutes. I know I had a lot of citrus juice in that container. I think it's time to get this going. All right, I'm going to get some jars out and we'll start canning it up. I have the jars out. They're very hot, as is the chutney. We're going to start loading them up. I'm going to start with the 8-ounce jars. I'm going to leave half an inch headspace. And we're going to process these for 10 minutes, adjusted for altitude. So I will put a link to the altitude time adjustment chart. Whoops. Okay, so that is a little over full. I'm going to have to come back and adjust that one. I want half an inch headspace. But I think that so often we forget to note that these times for water bath canning are adjusted for altitude. And I know that when you're in the zone and you're listening to somebody on a canning recipe, that can be forgotten, and we don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to grab a spoon so I can take care of the overfilling. These are going to be really sticky on the rim with the sugar and the molasses. And I wanted to mention, in the recipe, they talk about various types of molasses, and there's like a first press and a dark molasses or something, and then there's blackstrap. And they say blackstrap is too strong. I don't find that at all. That's what I use. That's what's generally available in the grocery store. And I have never had an issue with it being too strong. Okay, so this looks good. Probably don't really need a debubble here, but because it's liquid and solids, I'm going to. So you can see how much is on the rims. All right, I had a pack of new jars for this, so I'm going to use the lids that came with them. This is very, very hot, so make sure that you have your jar lifters and your hot pad handy. All right, let's see if you can see that. See the golden raisins in there? Again, it doesn't matter if you use golden or regular black raisins. This one is going in. I'm going to get the rest of these jarred up, and then I'm going to start the processing time once I come to a full rolling boil.
I wanna do it all with you by my side. If you're in, meet me here tonight. Be brave and come along. I'll be alright. Promise we don't need no brake lights. We can travel the world, so just say yes. Choose to do whatever comes next. Getting drunk on whiskey on a Tuesday night, drinking where I might lie, enjoying dinner until midnight, going bed by night.
Okay, it is full in there. There, can you see that? It is packed. So I have 15 4-ounce jars, and I ended up with 6 half-pint jars. And I'm going to start it up, and we're going to let it process for 10 minutes, and then turn the heat off, take the lid off, let it sit there for 5 minutes, and then we'll bring them out, and I'll bring you back. Okay, It is done processing. Everybody came out looking great. I am totally restocked on mango chutney. If I tell you later this year that I'm running out of mango chutney, you need to tell me I'm eating too much mango chutney because I have plenty now. So I'm just waiting on one more to seal and everything is ready to go. We're going to let this sit on the shelf for 4 to 6 weeks before we serve it so that all the flavors can meld together. It will mellow a little bit. If you felt it was a little bit hot going into the jar, heat spice-wise, don't worry about it. It'll mellow out, 4, 6, 8. You can even wait 8 weeks if you want. But I'm very excited to have it back on the shelf. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.